Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It's November 5th, 2014, and here are our top stories.
Tonight, in the aftermath of the midterm elections, the Second Amendment crushes gun control candidates.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Plus, million mask march rallies are sweeping the globe as demonstrators protest against mass surveillance and oppression. All that plus much more up next on the INFOWARS Nightly News.
What can America do to fight the globalist agenda? INFOWARS.com.
And welcome back. We'd like to thank everybody who joined us the past couple of nights following our continuing election coverage. Here are some of those results, talking about the things that have changed in the United States of America. Now, of course, we do see more Republicans in the seats in the House and the Senate, but that's not to say that things are perfect. You know, we've seen Republicans historically be war hawks, things of that nature. I don't fall into the left-right paradigm. I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat, but let's talk about some of the outcomes of last night's elections. Elections reveal decline of racial politics. For years, the Democratic Party in particular has stirred divisions by race, class, gender, and sexual orientation. But now more voters are realizing that this us versus them mentality, which pits American against American, has only attributed to the decline of the United States. In South Carolina, for example, Republican Tim Scott became the first African-American elected to the U.S. Senate in the South since Reconstruction. In Utah, Mia Love emerged as the first Black Republican woman to be elected to the House of Representatives. Similarity in California, Carl DeMaio became the first openly gay Republican to win a seat in Congress. So as they try to say that the Republican Party that I'm not vouching for, but they say all Republicans are racist or sexist or whatever, we see this as a clear contradiction to those claims. Now let's talk about some of the more ballot measures, things such as marijuana and also guns, because we talked extensively last night about the governor's races around the country. But let's look at some of these ballot measures. For example, we see in Alabama, Second Amendment rights. It's very shocking to me in this day and age, we still have to vote for our Second Amendment rights, but that won with a whopping 72%. In Alaska, we see recreational marijuana won with 52% according to Politico. Also in Colorado, food labeling, GMO labeling, that was a no with 66%. And the thing about this, the GMO labeling, we've seen this previously in states like California, where they say you don't want GMO labeling because that's going to raise the price of food. And the rationale from these big corporations like Monsanto is that if they have to change the labels on your food, that's going to raise the price of the food product. But let's think about this. Every time you have a big blockbuster movie or sporting event that they want to promote, what do they do on your favorite bag of chips or soda or whatever else? What do? They change the labels to promote that product or that event. So I don't really buy that it's going to cost you out the wazoo to get these labels changed. Let's look now at the District of Columbia. We see recreational marijuana was passed 69%. In Florida, medical marijuana was a no with 42%. Many other things as well. But I'll skip now down to Washington State, talking about the gun restrictions there. We saw the big campaign being pushed by Mayor Bloomberg and also Bill Gates, the firearm background checks, and that was a yes with 59%. So those are some of the things going on. I don't like the universal background check system. I don't like being labeled a terrorist. If I want to, sell somebody a shotgun out the trunk of my car, I don't like Chucky Schumer comparing private gun sales to peddling in child pornography. Yes, he did do that. You can find that on YouTube for yourself. But let's talk more about the Second Amendment. Because even though we may have lost the state of Washington, by and large, it was a good night for the Second Amendment. We have the article, Second Amendment crushes gun control candidates in midterm elections. And they have the comment in the article, in doing so, the Second Amendment annihilated the left's relentless claim that 90% of Americans support more gun control. Yeah, that's what I'm always wondering about. Who are these people that they're asking about? They're asking when they say, what do you think about more gun control? Do we need more gun control? Do we need universal background checks? Do we need to ban high-capacity magazines? Even though if I go buy an AK-47 off the shelf right now, it comes with a 30-capacity magazine. I don't consider that to be high-capacity at all. But they say 9 out of 10 Americans support stricter gun laws. And I'm like, who are these people they're asking? They never asked me. I don't think any of the guys in the back would support this either. I think what they do, they walk around the White House and they ask, 10 people, and maybe the one guy who doesn't speak English so well is like, oh, well, okay, I guess that was a no. So I think that's pretty much how they're doing it. We see across the board, you saw in the polls last night, whether it's Alabama, some of these other states as well, people said, hey, we want our Second Amendment rights. We don't want groups like the UN coming in and trying to take those away from us. But let's talk about things that could be taken away from you. Your control over the war situation. We see Senator John McCain, the war hawk, goes out and hangs out with the Syrian rebels and then wants to give you a lecture if you don't go do the same. We see Kurt Nimmo's article, Election Win. McCain will head up Senate's Armed Services Committee. John McCain is expected to become chairman of the powerful Senate Armed Services Committee in January following a Republican election victory November 4th. In the position, McCain will drive the defense policy on Capitol Hill, including the Senate's version of the National Defense Authorization Act, dictating how the Pentagon can spend money. He will also determine the foreign policy agenda of the United States. In the National Defense Authorization Act, that's enough for me to say, whoa, because as you guys recall, President Obama signed that into law on, New Year's Eve, when everybody's out partying and having a few libations. He comes in and says, we can pretty much take anybody we want to without any trial, indefinite detention and all that, not good stuff, but all those type of measures going on. So, meet the new boss. It's the same as the old boss. I don't think everything's okay just because we have more Republicans in certain seats. I think it's a clear demonstration to the Democratic Party that, people are pretty fed up with the way things have been going for the Obama administration's tenure, but I don't think it's an all-purpose deal and all clear, so to speak. You have to stay sober, stay vigilant. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe more people will jump the White House fence. I'm not encouraging to do that, but we've seen a lot of people do that. And then the questions come out, if the White House can't even defend its own house, how are they going to defend you in case of an emergency? We've seen guys jump over the fence, get into the White House. They're running around having a good time before the Secret Service is able to apprehend them. So what's it going to mean if, you don't have the right to bear arms and defend yourself if an attacker comes into your place of business or your home? Now, let's end tonight with this. Remember, the 5th of November, the treasonous gunpowder plot. I see no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. I almost made it all the way through that one. Talking about, of course, the Million Mask March. Guy Fawkes, V from Vendetta. A lot of guys recognize with these people and characters. And we see the Million Mask Marches going on all across the globe. There's a big one outside the White House, many other areas as well. People are peacefully demonstrating against the control of the system, the corruption of the system. Now, if you watch many of these videos, many of these protesters, these marchers, will give you various reasons as to why they're out there. But, regardless, they're out there in a mostly peaceful fashion. And I definitely encourage people to redress their grievances peacefully. Just go through it in a very nice and peaceful process. Well, that's it for this section of the InfoWars Nightly News, but stay tuned. We'll have some contest entries from our hashtag Ebola contest. But in the meantime, if you like this broadcast and you'd like to see it continue, stop by prisonplanet.tv. This is the InfoWars Nightly News, and we'll see you again right after this break.
Hi, I'm Dr. Group. Today, I'm proud and excited to announce a new product to the InfoWars Life product line. Introducing the first proprietary oxygen-based intestinal cleanser, OxyPowder. Backed by real FDA-approved phase 1, 2, and 3 clinical trials. People are suffering from all kinds of digestive issues these days. All the toxins from the air, the food, the water, everything that you're exposed to on a daily basis ultimately ends up in the gut or affects the gut. My main focus was to come up with a remedy for this, something that's safe and effective that anyone can take on a regular basis to keep their intestinal lining clean. You have over 30 feet of intestinal lining that can be compacted, that can be toxic, that can be full of parasites, fungus, bacteria. What are you doing to keep that clean and flushed out? My recommendation is to clean your intestines at least 2 to 3 times a week to prevent the toxic buildup from going into your bloodstream. You owe it to yourself to take your health into your own hands and start cleansing your body today with OxyPowder. Secure your OxyPowder today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super male vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super male vitality by INFOWARS Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com.
And welcome back to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm joined now by Leanne McAdoo and also Joe Biggs. We want to talk about something a little bit different, the hashtag Ebola contest. This is the contest where we invited our fans to go out and hit the streets, go out and hang up some posters in legal, lawful areas. And we have some great entries here tonight. We're not going to announce the winner tonight. It's going to be announced on the Alex Jones radio show on Friday. But in the meantime, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these entries. Let's start off with this one. Truth is viral. So we'll talk about a little bit about this, and then we'll see what everybody thinks at the end of the thing. And we definitely invite you to put your comments on YouTube. Tell us what you think about it. So let's go ahead and watch this first video. Very nice. Because we did have posters that we made in-house, but we also encourage people to make their own.